I want to ask you what the biggest story of the week, do you think the biggest story of the week is?
Okay, so there are three of them, and you can just choose what you think your audience would like to hear about. President Biden and the police, that's number one. CNN collapsing under the weight of their corruption, that's number two. And the astonishing Whoopi Goldberg situation where she doesn't know really what happened leading up to the Holocaust.
Yeah,
it's pretty astonishing. But all three of them are important stories.
So let's see if we can pack all three of them in. Let's start with headline number one, Biden and the police.
Okay, so the big question is, why didn't President Biden come to New York City on Wednesday when the second murdered police officer had his funeral in St. Patrick's Cathedral? Can you answer that?
They are not for the police.
Okay, but
he was asleep all day.
Put yourself in the Biden administration, and people are advising him, top advisor Jill Biden. So if you were going to come to New York to talk about violent crime, and you arrive on Thursday, the day after the funeral, why would you not go Wednesday when thousands of people were at the funeral, or outside?
Because thousands of people might boo, jeer, or blame you.
Possible, and that's not a bad explanation. But shouldn't you have the courage? And I don't think that would have happened inside St. Patrick's Cathedral. Remember, he's not going to walk around outside. He's going to get a special entrance. He'll be in the front row of the funeral.
What's the answer?
Here's the answer, Beck, and I'm glad you asked that question. It shows you're still on the game. The answer is that he doesn't want to anger, as always, the progressive left, which hates the police and feels that that in general, law enforcement is an instrument of racial oppression. So that's why he didn't come, which demonstrates that President Biden is a coward. He didn't do the right thing. He didn't honor the police officer who was murdered when he could have. I think that's pretty stunning.
I have never seen an administration with such a tin ear and this out of step on every topic. But it isn't a
tin ear or out of step. It's by design. They fear the progressive left. Now, you can speculate on why they do, but there's no question they fear it. If you look at the open border, if you look at the equity policies by dividing Americans into skin color and ethnicity and favoring certain groups, these are just things that never happened before in this country, ever. Yet Biden implements them despite the disaster that unfolds when he has.
What do you think is going on? What is the administration doing with Ukraine and Russia? Yesterday, that bizarre exchange from the AP reporter at the Department of State, where the Department of State is just saying, hey, we're releasing some information. They're going to do a false flag, and they're going to use crisis actors to make it look like Ukraine attacked Russia. And the guy says, wait a minute, what evidence do you have of that? Well, I just told you. No, you just told me that you had it. It was a bizarre exchange. What is going on?
Well, first of all, I think that's true. I think that U.S. intel and, they surveil Russia's government, and they picked up conversations that was one of the policies they're working on, to provide some kind of phony excuse to go in. So I think it's true. I'm not really down on the Biden administration in Ukraine right now. I mean, I think that they're doing what they should do by telling Putin they're going to wreck his economy if he invades Ukraine. That's what it comes down to. And the United States is going to lead the movement to wreck the Russian economy, and it will. And that's why Putin hasn't done it. So
you don't think Putin would respond? I mean, now the White House is saying he's going to hack into our He's going to hack into our power grid and banks and everything else.
He might. But look, Putin is out for Putin. He's not out for Russia. He's not out for those people. He's out for Putin. Okay. And there's a lot of danger for Putin here, personally. I mean, he's not that popular in a country where the economy is terrible, Russia. The ruble, and I know you have a lot of rubles, Beck, has lost about 40% of its value since Putin started this insanity. I mean, talk about inflation in the USA. If you got rubles, they're worth about 40% less than they were at Christmas. So I'm not down on the Biden administration on Ukraine. I'm a fair man, as you know, and I'm watching what happens.